Hello, what is poppin' YouTube fam? This is your boy J Money here. I'm bringing you guys a second place deck profile from this past weekend, the Sunday, and it is featuring a deck that I am revisiting, being Sharks. So there is a lot of new toys and a lot of new tools that this deck has gotten since I have last played this deck. So I'm not going to waste too much more time. We're just going to go ahead and get started with the profile. This deck did perform way better than I expected it to be. So starting off, we are on double Buzzsaw Shark. We love OTS 26 for giving us a super. And we are on one Bootoomful Princess. I am letting you guys know that I am on some different type of stuff. Definitely different than other Shark decks we have seen, for sure. So the Bootoomful Princess does serve a purpose. I will let you guys know that much. And we got some new cards, being the Big Jaws. Servicing Big Jaws. Something that you guys need to know, especially with this particular build. This particular build I have, it definitely, the restrictions on a lot of these cards really do matter. There are some of these cards that waterlock you, and some of these cards will Xyz lock you, and you would much prefer to play under a waterlock versus an Xyz lock because you do play some links in this extra deck. So you do try to save your Xyz lock effects for later until after you commit it to links, right? So Buzzsaw Shark is an Xyz lock, and Big Jaws is an Xyz lock only if you summon itself from the hand, right? And so for those of you who don't know, Big Jaws can summon itself from the hand during the turn that you've activated a spell card, right? And if it's normal or special, you can add a level 3/4. No, you can add a fish shark from your deck to your hand. Alright, so it itself is not a shark monster, unfortunately, so you can't search it with other things, but it's very good. Alright, now the next thing we got here is Abyss Shark. Abyss Shark is a lot better now because of the waterlock. The waterlock before was a lot worse because you wanted to commit to things like Utopic Draco Future and stuff like that. But we're not playing that in our extra deck, right? We're not playing any of the Utopics. So Abyss Shark is fine, right? If you control water monster, you can summon this from your hand. And on res, like, once it was summoned, you can also add a level 3, 4, 5, I think, fish monster from your deck to your hand. Yep, 3, 4, 5 fish from your deck to your hand. And this can be used as a level 4 for an Xyz summon as long as it's for a number monster. That is very, very important. So you cannot make Bahamut Shark with it. You can't make... The only thing you can make with it in this extra deck is Kraken. That's it. I mean, you could, like... I think you can link with it. Yeah, I think you can link with it. So, that's it for all of, like, the starters, right? See, we don't have that many starters. I mean, it's a couple normal summons, pseudo special summons, and things like that. It's fine. Drake Shark. It is a Poplar, and it does have a nifty little effect that an Xyz that has as a material gets the additional effect to detach 2 materials to target a face-up spell trap on your opponent's board and suck it up as a material. That did come up. I used it once, and I don't play any of the Shark Drake stuff, so the ability to count as 2 materials for a Shark Drake Xyz doesn't matter. We are on one Crystal Shark. Crystal Shark is a nice little neat extender, right? If it's in the hand or grave, you can target a level 3 or 4 monster. No, it can be treated as a level 3 or 4 for an Xyz of a number monster, just like the Abyss Shark. So Abyss Shark and Crystal Shark are those two will exclusively be used to summon Kraken, right? But if this is in hand or grave, you can target a water monster on the field. You summon this out of the hand or grave, but banish it when it leaves the field, and then half that monster's attack, right? So obviously you're gonna overlay with it, so it'll go back to your graveyard. Yeah, it's a free extender, level 4, again, Kraken access, easy. All right. XYZ Remora. Whew. I love how this card is old. We love old cards. Why? Because they're not once per turn. This card is pretty nutty, and you can use the effect as many times as you want as long as you can keep getting it to your hand. So, if this is in your hand, you can detach 2 materials from X seeds on the field to summon this card from your hand, and that does not start a chain. You just do it. Alright? And on summon, you can target 2 level 4 fishes in your graveyard. It has to be exactly 2. It can be up to 2. And you summon them from your graveyard defense. Their effects are negated, and you can only exceed with them using a... You can only exceed with for Water Monster. Alright? I think you can link with them, though. You can link with them, which is very, very important to note. And so you can summon this multiple times, and if you continuously have like multiple spaces on summon, you can just continuously do this. This card is nutty. We love it. And it's searchable. You summon it from your deck with Buzzsaw Shark, or you foolish shit with Lifeless Leaffish. We play this card because it is something that is kinda, it's a monster with, it's a water monster that's level 4 with 1500 or less attack for Coral Anemone purposes, right? Coral Anemone is kind of integral to a lot of these combos, and you just kind of need a good card of Foolish. But once we get that Jet Shark, this can get replaced. Jet Shark is a much better card. So but the effect to also banish it from the grave to shuffle 3 fishes in your deck from the graveyard to draw a card is also nice. We have our extenders. We got 1 Silent Sea Nettle and 1 Mini Aruka. This card is low-key kind of good, right? So for those of you who don't know, since it's a common card, nobody pays attention to commons. When a water monster's effect is activated, quick effect, you can summon this card from your hand, right? So it's a good chain block. You chain block. It's an automatic chain block for things like Buzzsaw Shark, what's it called? The Big Jaws, the Abyss Shark, like all of that. Like, and it doesn't matter where the effect was activated from. You can activate from hand or field or grave, and it doesn't matter. You are chain blocking things like Abyss Shark. You're chain blocking the Ash. You know, just it's specifically Ash, and this card not only gets around Ash, it also gets around Dominus Impulse, which is very, very important. Like, this will get Impulse, but like your other like big starters actually go through. So this is actually overperformed. I may actually play more of this, right? And I will also probably play more of the Silent Sea Nettle because the water lock doesn't matter, right? And the effect to shuffle water monsters back into your deck is so vital. Like, there's so many times where I want to shuffle back my Bahamut Sharks and go into a third one in mid combo, but since you only have one and it's an aqua, it's not even like it's a fish. If it was a fish, this would be infinitely better because it's a lot more accessible and searchable. But yeah, I may actually just run more copies of these in the future. So they were very, very good extenders. So on to the spy set we are on, right? We are on 3 Mermail Abystius. So Mermail Abystius, send a water from your hand to your graveyard, or discard a water from your hand to the grave. Summon it. On summon, you add a Mermail, and the Mermail we're adding is Abyss Shrine. We are adding one of the new Atlantean spirits, and what she does is she can tribute herself from hand or field, and then tribute another Mermail or Atlantean on the field to take a level 7 fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or summoning it. And we're going to summon the big fish, the super ancient deep sea Coelacanth, right? The reason why we're even on this package is because this gives us, these are essentially starters. Abystius is another starter that gets to this, which is still full combo without committing your normal summon, right? So for those of you who don't know, this thing has a couple of effects, right? For the most important one is you discard a card to summon as many level 4 or lower fish monsters from your deck as possible. Their effects are negated. So that's what that Butuniful Princess is for. It's actually for this combo, to where you can make a Bahamut Shark with a couple level 4s, summon like your Toad, Link off the fish, and the Tuneful Princess into Coral, summon back the Tuneful Fish, and summon out your Buzzsaw Shark. And, you know, you just keep comboing from there. And the second effect is actually very strong. It's its own targeting protection, right? It's only for itself though. So if it were to be targeted by something, you can contribute one other fish to negate that activation, destroy it. So if you want to ensure that this doesn't get smacked by Imperm, Veiler, or Mourner, you can just, just have a fish down on the field. Preferably one that you don't have to normal summon, because if you want to play around Nib, you leave your board empty and only have this, and you summon a bunch of monsters, right? So if you do get nibbed, you can commit your starter from your hand. You can commit to your normal summon. But if you commit to your normal summon and you try to play around like the targeting protection and all that stuff, you lose to Nib. So it's either do you want this to resolve and potentially lose to Nib, or do you not care if this gets Imperm and you just want to make sure that you have something? You know what I mean? It really is a catch-22. So anyway, that is it for the monsters. On to some spells. One White Mirror. White Mirror is still decent. It really is good to make use of like whatever you discard off of Abystius, or whatever you foolish off of Lifeless Leaf Fish and whatnot, and soon to be Jet Shark and whatnot. So White Mirror still does have its uses, even though we don't play Silent Angler. It's a spell card, so it does turn your Big Jaws online. One Desires. I actually liked it at 1, to be honest. It was one of those things where I didn't want to always see it. But if I did see it, like every time I did see it, it did come in the clutch. But the times, I mean, there wasn't really too many times where I was like, I really wish I had Desires in my hand. But it was always kind of nice, right? So, yeah. Anyway, continuing on, we got Abyss Scale. Hint, hint. Probably know what we're playing at this point. This is the one that negates the resolution of a spell card. And we got some Armored Xyz cards. Hint, hint. We know what that's about. This card in particular is really decent because it's a spell card that you can search. So if you don't open a spell, this is a searchable spell you can activate to allow Big Jaws to summon itself from the hand. And Full Armored Xyz is also nice because in the combos that we pull off, we will keep 2 level 4s on the field, so you can flip that over to go into a second Kragan. Virtue Stream, because Virtue Scream plus 2 Kragans is amazing. That you just literally 2 Kragans and Virtue Stream, you're getting like 6 pops. Just off of that, just that alone is 6 pops. And that's searchable off of the Virtue Dragon. Hint, hint. Goes to match because it's still game if you have Kragan on field. Non-engine, we have a lot of them. 3 Perulias. It's actually a little bit better than Fuelos in this deck in particular because it is a water monster, right? It being able to be sent for Abystius is really nice. It being a water monster on field, like if you don't open anything else and you open Perulia plus like an Abyss Shark is live because Abyss Shark needs a water monster on field to be able to summon it. 3 Fuelos, of course. And 3 Ashes, of course. And, Dominus Impurge is nice and whatnot. And it negates other Mulch armies and things like that. 3 Impermanence, doesn't play into triple tactics at all. And it's a trap card. It's good to draw into an established field. And probably the best non-engine card in this entire deck is Dominus Impulse. Dominus Impulse is... I feel like this card is too good. And it's not... I don't think it's too good because of its effect. I think it's too good because of the restrictions, right? Dominus Pulse and Dominus Impurge, I deadass think they should have had their attribute restrictions reversed because... Man, like, Dominus Impulse is a way better effect than Dominus Purge, and it's like, bruv, like, you're telling me I can still use Dark Monsters with this card? Like, that is... It's crazy that you can still use Dark Monsters with Dominus Impulse, and Waters and Fires, like, there's so many Water and Fire decks, and the thing about it is, there's a lot more support for Water and Fire decks than there are for Wind and Earth, right? So, like, I feel like the stronger effect should be like supporting like the less supported attributes. That's just me though. But this card just being able to just draw for turn and just play into boards, or just, you know, Primera summon, sure, get the Trudea. Trudea tries to go out of the back row, you just impulse and they just pass. Like, it really is just crazy. This card literally will just end turns a lot of the time, and it, in combination with Impermanence, is a very, very good combo, because at that point, there's a trap engrave, and Impulse will just destroy whatever is getting negated. So, yeah. Also, being able to just stop Nib from hand is nice, too. You know, assuming you can put a card on your opponent's field. Alright, on to the extra deck. We got Dweller, we never made it. 2 Bahamut Sharks, we made them all the time. A lot of the times I wish I had a third one in my extra deck. I still don't want to cut Dweller though, because, you know, you never know what kind of matchup you have. If you're playing against Fire King or something, you really want to have like the Dweller. Tier element, just, there's always going to be some sort of graveyard reliant matchup. 2 Toads. The Virtue Dragon. The Virtue Dragon is nice for not just getting Virtue Stream, but being able to give you follow-up, basically, because it lets you detach a material from any XCs and add a water monster from your graveyard to your hand and whatnot. So, yeah. And you summon it off Bahamut Shark, it's nice. 1 XC's Armor Fortress for the package, and 1 full armor Dark Lancer. Dark Lancer, being able to add back the XCs or more, is always nice, and we love it. And going second, I mean, getting the equip spell, summoning this, and equipping it to the Dark Lancer so you can steal something and threaten something is always nice. And now we have 2 Kragans and 2 Kragan spawns. So the combo, oftentimes that you want to go for like Bahamut Sharks, Toads, Dark Knight Lancer, and whatnot. You want to have 1 Kragan on field and 2 level 4s with the trap card Armor and Exceed. That way you can equip something so Dark Knight Lancer can steal. And the Virtue Stream can pop 1 of the Kragans and pop 2 cards. Kragan will flow into the other 2 spawns. You still have the effect where everything on the field is water because you have a second Kragan on the field. And again, you get 6 pops. You're popping 6 cards, man. It's crazy. And, you know, the grind game, man. The grind game with this, you know, if this gets popped, that means the Kragan that you had engraved also comes out and attaches the material. So, yeah, unless they're bouncing or vanishing, yeah, you're always going to have to deal with these things. And the last 2 cards, Coral Anemone and Mermail King Neptibus, right? So, in those combos, you like to Coral and then you climb into the Mermail King if you go Bahamut Shark afterwards. And you summon a Toad or whatnot, or a Virtue Dragon. This kid fetch you that Abyss Scale from your deck and equip it. Side deck. Side deck makes the deck. It really does. 3 Fury of the Kaiushins still. Next card is still good. It's crazy that is like the torrential tributes that it adds. It just gives your deck extra reinforcement, and it allows you to play Najol a little bit better. And it allows you to combo with some other cards that I will go into just a little bit later. But being able to just confidently make a board against Tenpai, knowing that like Raigeki or Lightning Storm isn't going to really affect you too much because the Fury of Kaiushins in the graveyard, it's nice to know. 2 Solemn Judgments because we want to, you know, going first. Like, most of these cards that we have in our side deck are for going first, and we just take out a lot of the hand traps and whatnot. 2 Thrusts. We only have a couple targets for Thrust. 1 is Dimensional Barrier, and another one is White Howling. White Howling to just shut down spell cards. Shutting down spells is still just insane. You know, just, I don't know why most water decks are not on White Howling. I just don't get it, right? If you can shut down spells for a turn, you basically win. 1 Called By. I may just end up cutting it. I don't think I need it, to be honest. And the last 3 in the side deck is Heatwave. Yeah, so if you got Fury, yeah, like, you can activate Heatwave, right? Your opponent is not playing the game. You're not playing the game, but your opponent doesn't play either. And now it's your turn again. Turn 3, all your stuff's online, and you have a battle phase. This basically just says turn skip your opponent and OTK. This is like, okay, for those of you who know about the Valkyrie archetype, this is literally like going first with Valkyries and activating Mischief of the Time Goddess. That's literally what this is. I don't know why more combo decks don't do this, and I don't know why this is just not being abused to the point where it's just gotten banned. You know what I mean? Like, if your opponent likes to go Shifter on draw phase and stuff like that, Perulias and whatnot at the start of main phase and whatnot, they just wasted a card. Activate Heat Wave, activate Fury of the Akariushin, add Torrential Tribute, activate Thrust, set like your D barrier, or set like, it's so good. Like, you can still do things. You can still set up some like trap cards and stuff like that, and still end up just doing fine. So anyway, guys, that is the deck profile. Let me know what you guys thoughts and opinions are, especially when it comes to like the Mermail, little small Mermail package to get to the fish. Again, it's full combo without normal summoning, and that's kind of why I'm not really in need of like any more. Like, I did want to play Foolish Burial Goods and the Ice Barrier, but I don't have them, so yeah, that kind of sucks. I ordered those, so yeah, imagine, like, because you can send Abystius to your grave and add it to your hands. I'm like, oh, this is more copies of Abystius. I'm liking this, right? So anyway, let me know what you guys think about this. Again, second place. I lost to Fire King. It was like, yeah, Fire King Snake Eye. It was a very interesting match. I guess I'll kind of go into it a little bit later. But anyway, guys, that is enough for me. Thank you so much for watching. This is J Money, and I am signing out.